First up is Aaron Franklin, Addy Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering and Chemistry. And he will be introduced by Nick Williams, PhD candidate in Electrical and Computer Engineering.
Thank you. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce Professor Aaron Franklin, who's receiving the 2021 Dean's Award for Excellence in Mentoring. I can think of no one more deserving of this award. He demonstrates an extraordinary commitment to supporting the growth of all of his students, and it goes well above and beyond the expectations for any professor. From the moment you speak with him, it is clear how much he cares about the students in his lab. I was struck with his openness during my interview, first of all, where he encouraged me to ask questions not only about the lab and about Duke, but also about graduate school in general and how to find the best fit for a lab for me. He is the reason why I came to Duke, and I consider myself incredibly lucky to have worked with him in his lab. And I'm confident in saying that everyone else in the lab will share in this exact sentiment. That's just one example, but I'm constantly struck by how invested in my development and well-being he is. I cannot fathom how much time and effort Dr. Franklin must spend to provide such a holistic and individualized mentoring for each of his students. And I sincerely believe that if I am half as caring and half as supportive as he is, I would still be among the upper echelon of mentors. So thank you, Dr. Franklin, for being an amazing mentor. Everyone in the lab is incredibly excited that you have received this award.
Aaron.
What an honor, Nick, and thank you for the overly generous words. So the other day, I was asked to consider my childhood vision of becoming a scientist as a little seed that has now grown into a thriving tree. And I was then asked what it was that enabled the growth of the tree, and with the tree representing my career. As I considered this imagery, the answer came quickly. If my life is the soil the seed was planted in, then it is the vast assortment of mentors throughout my life that have been the nutrients to my seed, roots, and tree, making any and every achievement possible. While growing up in a single parent home in inner city Phoenix, Arizona, I didn't have much encouragement to pursue higher education. With no family members having ever received post-high school degrees, and academic achievement being of lesser interest to the folks that influenced my life, it was something that kept me focused more on relationships at that point rather than education. And so I had influences, including my mother, who showed me that mentoring, what matters most is unfailing caring for those you mentor. With the dream of becoming an electrical engineer, I started college with a state scholarship, and I failed miserably. After one academically disastrous year, I lost my scholarship and turned my back on higher education, never planning to return. In the ensuing years, another mentor would step into my life, bringing nutrients of perspective and motivation that my roots had never before accessed. I was re-energized, and after my few-year hiatus from school, I returned to school at a community college and eventually finished my bachelor's in electrical engineering at a university. Along the way, I was once again sustained by various mentors who molded my interests and focus. I entered the workforce thinking I'd found my dream job, only to feel like a few weeks into it, I needed to do something different. With the encouragement of more life mentors, I pursued graduate studies and earned my PhD in electrical engineering from Purdue. As my roots continued to grow, so did their access to more and more fortifying mentors. Through the subsequent years I spent on the research staff at IBM and eventually here on the faculty at Duke, I continued and continue to benefit from many additional mentors. The most steady of them all has been my wife, Leanne, who took a historical gamble on me 18 years ago when she married a clearly unproven and mostly unqualified version of me. She has mentored, molded, guided, and sustained me through uncertainties and blunderings in a masterful way. So hopefully you can see any mentoring I have done is a product of years of mentoring I have so generously received. Now, over my last 7 years as a faculty member here at Duke, I've been able to take on the mentor role with each student seed planted into the garden of my research lab. Each student has grown and succeeded in remarkable ways. I can honestly say that being a part of the development and growth of the students in my lab has been the most rewarding aspect of my entire career. With little guidance I have provided, these students have taken and turned into magnificent discoveries and other opportunities. I'm continually amazed by them and could not be more thoroughly honored by their nominations. While they may be recipients of my mentorship, little do they know that they have in turn been incredible nutrients to my continued growth. I extend my most sincere gratitude to each of them and thank all of you.